divine, beautiful souls. I know it's been quite a minute that I've connected at all on this platform, but what stemmed me to come here and speak and express is I had just finished listening to a voicemail that my dad sent my mom, and it took me a minute to listen to it because you can hear the pain and the regret in his voice. And he even mentioned like not wanting to die without the respect of his kids. And I'm not gonna get into my whole fucking childhood trauma with my dad, but listening to that voicemail opened up my heart, opened up my third eye, and it made me realize that this life is so short, and I've always known that. But we think of that in the way of ourselves and how we move through this world and how we are. But that also goes to people that you come in contact with, people that trigger you, and understanding why, and understanding their side of the perspective and what is triggering in their way, in the side of like the connection and passing and all of that. And I had this thing that has been haunting me, is because I always try to move through this world being kind and being loving and understanding of people, and trying to navigate those lessons that I have within myself, and really diving into what that means, because my dad died and I hadn't spoken to him in like years, you know, from me being triggered by him and me extending that love and kindness and it not being reciprocated in the way that I thought and felt that it should be. And this whole experience has made me understand and realize that that was on me, that I chose to live in pain and anger rather than acceptance and accepting where someone is, and, you know, obviously setting those boundaries within yourself and all that, but not taking away the understanding of love. The understanding of love, the love within us, and how we all receive and give and reciprocate even differently, and what that entails. And as I'm listening to my dad's voicemail, I thought about this platform. I thought about people that I know, that I knew, and different situations and circumstances that, you know, might have went well or might have, ended badly or whatever. And I just felt like I needed to really say this to all of you who feel the need to listen, that we can't get wrapped up in our ego, and we can't get wrapped up in certain ways of feeling and how we decide to handle that or express that or whatever the circumstance is, because you never know when someone's just gonna drop dead. Truly. And there's so many things that I wish I would have said to my dad. There's so many things that I would have asked him, and, coming to the understanding of his perspective and perception of love and his way of giving it, and how if I would have accepted that differently and navigated, through the triggers, through the pain, through all of that, with an understanding, with an acceptance, obviously with boundaries, but literally becoming really clear about this life. And we have to realize how important it is for us to communicate and heal and move forward and gain clarity of our triggers and why we're triggered by someone else, and understanding them and their triggers and why they might be triggering. And this may be making sense to you, it may not, but I'm kind of like frazzled still from the voicemail. But really, just we have to be better in how we try to elevate our souls. We have to be better in how we understand each other. We have to be better in how we forgive each other. We have to be better in our understanding of one another and our differences, and meeting that energy halfway. Sorry. I just find it really important that we're reminded on how precious life is and how precious we should be to each other, despite all the little things that might keep you from talking to someone or keep you from communicating with someone or gaining understanding, gaining healing, moving forward as a collective source of energy for this earth. And honestly, listening to that made me really change how I want to be and change how I want to move forward with people and move forward with how I handle my emotions, how I handle being triggered, how I handle this life, because it's so short. And I would hate to be in the place emotionally and mentally that my dad was when he died. And I know it's from a lot of regret and all of that, but it's coming into terms with that, being the person that's been hurt by this person, triggered and abused and everything. It's like he's gone now, and I'm left here feeling regret. Probably the same regret that he felt in his passing. And I guess what I'm trying to say is, it goes both ways. You know, some people are unaware of the energy that they give off, or what they're doing, or what they might be doing to you, like, because it's not intentional. Like, and that's something that I've been understanding and growing from, is like, it's not intentional. You know, when someone hurts you, or someone is toxic for a period, or they're hurting you or whatever, it's like a lot of people don't realize that your perception of their actions is traumatizing, or like hurtful or toxic. It's because they're going off of their own state of being, their own way of expression and understanding, and they're doing the best that they can, just like we all are. But the bottom line is, we have to be better in how we do that. We can't walk around this life saying that we're spiritual, or we're religious, or, you know, I'm for the people, and I'm teaching all these things, and, you know, trying to get people to be more enlightened, when we don't take the time to actually fully be enlightened with what the fuck happens in this everyday life. What the fuck it means to feel these emotions: sadness, happiness, anger. There has to be a better way that we try to understand that and navigate that in our actions in everyday life. Like, not just saying it, and not just, you know, kind of doing it and kind of not, but being consistent with how we decide to navigate through these transitions, through these triggers, through this life of happiness, sadness, anger. Navigating it in a way that is clarifying to our souls. Clarifying, but also a reminder that we came here for that. All of it. We came here for that. To learn and to grow. And when we don't take the time to gain this understanding, this clarity in, you know, our different situations that we might have with people, or just different examples of life, of an extravagant ball of emotion, of energy, it becomes really clear that our souls need it. To understand that much more, to be able to still be kind, you know, but love someone from a distance, or get that understanding in the wider spectrum that is this collective energy. And sometimes it's the best thing to ignite low vibrations just as much as we do high, for our soul's understanding, so we can have a better understanding about ourselves, and like how we can navigate better, how we can be better, how we can love deeper and deeper, and understanding the differences of love, but that it's all one, and we can't have one without the other. So pain is love, loss is love. Like, this has been an extremely, like, liberating experience. Very painful and very, like fuck, it made me, like, look at myself differently, and I started navigating my life differently based off of this pain and based off of this experience. And my dad made me realize what it means to be alive. And it obviously starts with us. It starts with us. But it's also the way we are with each other and how we choose to be in our energy and in our attentions, which should be love and knowledge and this earth and energy and elevation and God, Gaia. And it's been an extremely, like, I'm kind of ranting, but we just have to be better. Like, losing my dad made me realize that I've been saying for a long time that I'm on this spiritual journey, and I'm on a path of enlightenment, and I'm doing the damn thing. I do my meditations, I do all this, and I do all this, but I can honestly say that there's been plenty of times where I chose to be not as kind as I could have, or chose to not understand someone and their reaction that caused my reaction. And it's like, fuck, I can't say that I'm this spiritual person and this spiritual being if I'm not being consistent with that. And with my dad, I was not consistent, and then he died. So it's like, how are you going to be consistent in your intention of love? Seriously, how are you going to do that? What does that mean? And it's not just doing meditations and yoga classes and kundalini, and like, I can go on with the whole spiritual gander, but it's like, it's not about that at all. Those are all tools to help us become more clear with the whole reason why we're here and the purpose that we chose to experience these things in this life, in this avatar, in this body, in this world, in this time. And I definitely forgot that. And I know a lot of you forget that because we're in this time of a digital age, and, you know, we all want to be accepted and everybody's on a spiritual journey. But it's like, spirituality starts with us and our intention. And once our intention changes, or once, like, we don't do one but we do the other, it's like we're not really doing the work, and we're not really trying to gain that understanding of our purpose. To learn, to love, to experience, to grow. And I really, I've been seeing a lot about, like, how people navigate things nowadays. Like, no one wants to talk about things. People are quick to just drop somebody and say fuck it. And, like, I've had an issue because I'm the one that I'll hold on and I'll try to fight for you, and I'll do all the whole fucking 9 until you fucking cross me, and then I'm over it and I'm done. But that's also devil energy. That is not what we came here to do. So changing the way we handle our emotions, changing the way we treat each other, changing the way we try to understand, because you realize that it does start with us. But so does the change, and so does the shift. But we have to be consistent. We have to be consistent. Because we have to remind ourselves that empathy, and this is coming from an empath, and hearing my dad's voicemail and everything, it's like I felt it so hard, and it hurt me because it's like, despite everything that he's done, it's like it bothers me that he died alone. And it hurts me that I didn't have the dad that I wanted, and that I'll never have that chance to fix it or have him in my life at all. But he's with me all the time, like, and I was really called to talk about this because it's an issue that we're having, especially on these fucking platforms. Like, we're forgetting our intention. Love, experience, knowledge, community. So, all that to say, it's time to be intentional with our love, with our understanding, with our clarity. Like, it needs to come from a place of love. We have to tap into the fact that we're all human. One species. And we all handle things differently, and we all hurt differently, and we all perceive differently, and we all think differently and understand differently, and all of that. But at the same time, the whole reason why we came here is to elevate each other, to learn, to grow, and to help someone else get to the frequency that you're at. Not like, oh, like, you're low vibrational. It's like, probably. But you're low vibrational for thinking that you're better than that person, or that you, in your time, is not worth trying to understand why someone's at that frequency. I'm not saying stay down there with them and fucking, let this energy and just take you over and like suffocate you, and like, because I'm one that really taps into other people's shit and I get really overwhelmed. So I'm not saying do that. I'm saying, like, we have to take the time to understand so we can share knowledge. And you might not help that person right then, but when it's time for them to elevate, and when it's time for them to shift energies, you are definitely going to be someone that pops in their head, because you chose to understand, that you chose to still send out love when they were spewing and throwing up so much hate and pain. And I just had that clarifying, like, mind fucking thing that just blew me over, and I had to share it because we're all guilty of it. And I say especially the ones that are spiritual or religious, even everyday people. But you see it a lot when it comes to the ones that are doing all these things, and it's like they get to this, frequency where it's like you have this attitude like you're better than everybody else, or like you know more than everybody else. It's like we should still have open minds to learn and grow and to heal and to extend that knowledge, extend that love. Like, we're never too good for that. And I would hate for any of you to make that mistake, because I did. And I'm going to have to deal with that for the rest of my life. It made me change so much about myself and how I think and how I want to proceed with this life. And the only way that is with an open heart and an open mind. Because we all deserve elevation. We all deserve happiness. We all deserve to feel like we're loved and that we're not alone, and that there's people there for you. We all deserve that. And I can literally say to you, like, that was something that my dad regretted that he didn't have, and that he didn't take the time to rebuild those burned bridges. So I invite you to change the way you think, change the way you handle emotions and circumstances, because we could be missing out on our blessings because we're too stuck on ego, spiritual bypassing, a lot of people call it. We're too busy doing that shit, and we get wrapped up in it, like, and forget the whole fucking reason we started this journey, we started this path. We started this collectively a long time ago to elevate the energy on this earth. And it starts with us. And it extends and inspires the ones around you, the ones in your intermediate space, the ones that you see at the gas station, the ones that you see in passing, walking by. It's like your kindness and your love and your complete wholeheartedness of being open, mind, body, and soul, in making your intention elevation, growth, knowledge, teaching, experiences, making that our core intention, not all this other bullshit, like not the popularity contest, not how many people are fucking following me, not how many, spiritual friends I have, and all these things, or this whole idea of like no new friends and you don't have time to think about other people type shit, or like petty bullshit of like I can't talk to you because X, Y, and Z, or like, just bullshit. Like, seriously bullshit. And it's like devil energy in disguise that we like to pretend it's something else. Like, oh, I'm protecting my energy. It's like, yes, for sure, do that. But don't change the way you execute your soul's expression on this earth. Don't change the way you intend to be as a human. Don't change that. We need to remind ourselves often what we came here for. And it wasn't to have 1 million followers on Instagram. It wasn't to have, this way of like, I'm just doing this so I can do this. We're forgetting about our intention, our passion, our way of life, and its purpose, and what our souls came here to do, which is to elevate. And I, for one, am done doing this whole fucking spiritual bypassing shit, because I see it. It's like, that's why I don't get on this shit that often, because I literally see it often, too often than I'd like, where it's like you become so egotistical, like you're better than everybody else. Or now that you reached a certain goal, you think like your intention changes. Then it becomes more about the money, or it becomes more about the followers, or more about unnecessary shit. Like, that's not why you started that channel. That's not why you started playing music. That's not why you started singing. That's not why you started it. It came from passion and direct intention of your soul's expression, which is to learn, to grow, to heal, to love, to experience, to have understanding, to be clear. To be clear with what our souls came here to do. So, beautiful people, I really hope you got something out of this, because I definitely did. My whole fucking mind exploded. I listened to my dad's voicemail and cried and felt so many things. Guilt, regret, anger in myself, and even about him. And I had to realize, like, my dad was a human too, who experienced pain, trauma, triggers, tribulations, the whole nine, and only projected what he knew. And if I changed my understanding about that, I wouldn't have been triggered by certain things that would have kept me from talking to him for years. If I would have tried to understand any of that, the situation that I'm in now would be different. You know, I could have had this fucking phenomenal relationship with my dad the last 3 years he was alive. But I chose differently. I chose not to understand because it was affecting me. But you also forget that we have control over our emotions and everything, and how we handle everything. And it's like, that was a choice I made. But it's a choice I won't make again. So, be kind. Have empathy. Have love. Have understanding. And be clear with your soul's intention. And don't shift it into something else. Like, don't let this circle that you're going in become you bypassing the evolution of your soul's purpose, your soul's captivating light. Because we forget that all that is. But it starts with us, and it starts with our intention. It starts with our choices and how we decide to navigate this life, how we decide to treat people. Because it's okay that, you know, you might not connect with someone, obviously. But how will you navigate that? Are you going to be unkind? Are you going to be fake? How are you going to navigate that? It's changing the way we decide to express our soul's intention. Being clear with our soul's existence and like why we decided to do this. Some of it's for music, some of it's for, you know, whatever. I can go on about it, but I just really had to share that because I see a lot of people doing it, and it's like Spirit said, like, you need to let these people fucking know from your personal experience that you gotta stop fucking living in ego, even when you think you're not living in ego, because certain choices and certain actions that we decide to make should always be in the tension of love and understanding, of growth, of this life experience. So let's be better. I plan on being better. Like, I've learned so much about how I am and how I am with people, and you know, I want everyone to, you know, take me as an example. Like, I'm human, but I'll always be the first one to admit when I'm wrong and when I need to change something, and when I need to be different and be better. So I encourage you all to do the same. No one is above anyone. No one has all the answers. No one's as elevated as they like to pretend, or no one's as popular as they like to pretend. It's like, we're all here doing the same shit. So knowing that, how are you going to navigate triggers and conflict and pain and sadness? It's like, how are you going to navigate that? Hopefully with the intention of love and understanding and knowledge and growth and all of that. And I guess that's my whole point in all this, is like, I hope you change the way you decide to be as a human being, and how you choose to treat other human beings. Hopefully it's the way that you would treat yourself, honestly. And think about that perspective when you handle a situation. Like, how would I feel? You know, if I was alone having a heart attack, knowing that I hadn't spoken to any of my kids for a long period of time, how would I feel as a person? Or how would I feel making someone dispendable because I'm done with them, or I don't want to involve myself in their energy anymore? It's like, how would you feel? How would that make you feel? Or someone treating you differently or wrong or whatever because of someone else. It's like, how would you feel? How would that make you feel? It's like, think about that the next time that you're triggered, or you're in conflict, or you're in pain, anger, whatever. It's like, think about how you would feel. And it's like, obviously it's going to be different than the next person or that person in the situation, but it's having that understanding that we're all human and we're all experiencing different shit, and we're all fucking trying to understand this whole reason of life and why the fuck our souls decided to come here and experience the shit that we experience, meet the people we meet. You know, all of these things, our failures, our successes, it's like, we chose to be here for that. And if we become clear with, we're all doing that shit, and we need to have kindness and empathy and compassion for the next person, because you wouldn't want that feeling or emotion to be you, or you to be in that feeling or emotion. So it's like, change the way you are and how you understand, how you choose to understand. Have acceptance. Because life's too short, dude. Like, it's like, I've seen a lot of death. I've worked in nursing a little over 8 years. Worked in hospice. So, seeing death from this perspective definitely shifted everything. Because I want to be different in how I treat people and how I decide to learn, how I choose to have clarity, how I choose to have empathy and compassion for someone else. Regardless if it's for me or not, it's like, I know that you're on your journey. And it's like, I've always known that. But for it to be fucking punched, it punched me in the face. Because I've experienced so many different things where petty bullshit overtakes a connection, overtakes our purpose of trying to learn and understand and grow and heal. And it's like, yeah, I won't go on and on and on. But I hope that you got something from that. I just rambled a whole bunch about my dead dad. But it fucking helped me realize that I ain't shit, just like all you ain't shit. And that this whole thing that we're doing is so that we can be divine elements of this world, this universe, a collective energy, a power surge of love, happiness, understanding, compassion, empathy. It's like, that's what the whole reason we came here for. So we actually need to work towards that and like put that as our core factor, our core being, like, of this intention of love. So yeah. I love you, and I hope you're well. And I appreciate you watching me rant and cry on camera. It's my favorite thing to do. But I just thought it was really important to share. Like, I think I've talked about being clear on intention before, but this is from a different perspective, from my perception of my dad and how things could have been different, you know, still, if I would have changed, you know, why I wanted a relationship with my dad, or why, you know, I'm here on this journey. It's like, I could have been more clear in my soul's purpose, which is love. So the fact that I'm dealing with the reason why I chose differently, it's like, I don't want anybody to feel this pain or this regret. And it's like, that's a whole nother healing process that you gotta go through. It's like, let's skip all that bullshit and just cut to the chase. Let's be real, let's be clear, let's be open, let's be free in our love, clear with our purpose of wanting to understand and having that compassion, you know, because that puts us in a different frequency. When we remember our whole fucking purpose and like our intention, and not getting lost in all the other petty bullshit, whether it be Instagram or, you know, ex-boyfriend, ex-girlfriend, friends, whatever. It's like, we just have to be different. And yeah, I love you, and I hope, you know, you're enjoying this amazing energy shift. And I hope you're gaining so much clarity. I hope you're healing a lot. I hope you're finding time to have gratitude and love and all of that, because you deserve it. Like, you deserve knowing that you are a beacon of light. All of us. You deserve to know that. So, to know that, you have to live that. And to live that means you have to be that. So being that empathy, being that compassion, like being that adverb, being that fucking verb, being all of that, just fucking being. Because at the end of the day, it starts with you. What you decide to do and how you decide to react and how you decide to process is like, that all matters in elevation as well. So I really hope you got what I've been trying to say this whole time. I don't even know how long this has been going on, but I hope you got that. I hope you get where I'm coming from, because death is inevitable for all of us. We came here for a reason, and once that reason's done, we're done. Like, this life will cease to exist. But what's left behind is your soul's journey and its purpose that you decided in this present in life, how you were going to navigate that, how you were going to do all of that. It's like your soul is left behind. Like what your soul did. Once this body's gone, it's like your love, your light is what is going to be nourishing this earth. So it's like, what are you going to do with it? How clear are you going to decide to be? Be clear with your intention. Be kind. Be loving. Be divine. Much love, divine spiritual beings, and I hope you have a beautiful day, and I hope you're living in love today, as you should every day. Much love. I say.